All righty. We're going to go ahead and get started this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Ed Wilburn with Fenby Mortgage, and this is Gloria Anderton. We are coming to you this morning to talk about our jumbo, or what we call non-conforming loan programs. Why are we choosing today to talk about this? A lot of it has to do with our current market situation in South Florida. You know, I don't know if you know, but the actual median sales price of a home now in Miami-Dade County is $525,000. So
Incredible.
that is 30% higher than it was a year ago. That means the median sales price means that half of the transactions are above that mark. So that means many loans now that we're doing for people are going to be what we call a jumbo loan or non-conforming, because even Fannie Mae couldn't change the loan amount fast enough to keep the conforming loan limit moving up. So the conforming loan limit, or what we call conventional loan, is at $647,200. So the loans that we're talking about today are non-conforming, so they're going to be above that mark. Now there's going to be some other things that we're going to talk about, but the most important thing is for you to hang in there, stay to the end, because we're going to have our question and answer. You'll see it at the bottom of your screen. You can type your questions, and we're going to answer all your questions at the end. But we're also going to have a raffle for a $50 Amazon gift card. So if you hang into the end, there's rewards to be had. So let's get started with a little bit about Fenby Mortgage. We've been in business now. Actually, our 25 years is coming up. September the 17th is the actual day. So that's our birthday. We'll be turning 25 years that we've been in South Florida. We are the largest independent mortgage banker headquartered in South Florida and in Puerto Rico. So we have a specialty of 2 markets, and that's where we love doing business. But, you know, we are continuing to grow and expand our market as far as the products that we offer. And that's why we're here today, because we have some very unique jumbo products that I think will help you in your business.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to be here. Good morning, everybody. I'm Gloria Anderton. I'm one of the loan originators here. And, you know, I'm really excited about jumbo loans because there's a lot of great things happening. First of all, rates are generally lower on jumbo loans. And you can also, at Fenby, you can have a high loan to value. And we have no closing cost options, and we have alternative documentation requirements. So we really want to do these jumbo loans, and we have some great programs and products, which we're going to get into during this program for you.
Yeah, and that's very good that you say that, because a lot of people don't realize that interest rates. So for many years, people tried to avoid doing a jumbo loan. They would split the loan up into 2 loans. They would do a first mortgage and a conforming and a second, just so that they could keep that first mortgage below the conforming loan limit, because the belief was that the rates were actually better on conforming loans. Well, that whole situation has reversed itself.
Right.
So now, believe it or not, I've encouraged people to borrow more so that they can have their mortgage be in the jumbo category, because the rate is significantly better, especially on like investment properties and cash out refinances, because Fannie Mae has instituted a lot of add-ons to the rates. So if you end up doing an investment property, or your credit score isn't absolutely perfect, or you're doing an investment property or a second home even, the add-ons are really high. So a lot of times the bigger the better, so to speak, as far as rates go. So most people don't know that. Okay. So let's talk about some basics as far as Fenby Mortgage goes, and about what we can do for you, which is really unique for a mortgage banking company, because when most people think jumbo loans, I think they think banks.
Right.
You know, and so banks today are very conservative when it comes to jumbo loans. Their debt ratios are very restrictive. The process is very slow. You know, I think that's what people think about when they think about jumbos, or having very limited amount of choices when it comes to products. So some things that you should know about the Fenby Mortgage suite of products. First of all, we have the best jumbo rates right now for primary, second home, and investment properties. That's no holds barred. We have the best possible deals. You know, there's the regular old fixed, the 30-year fixed. But then what a lot of people haven't thought about in a while are ARM products.
Yeah.
And we have some great ARM products that people don't think about that are what are called fixed term adjustables. So they're fixed for a period of years, like a 10-1 ARM is fixed for 10 years, which, you know, most people do something on their mortgage every 5, 6, 7 years, whether they refinance, sell their home, you know, move up. And you as realtors know that's when people tend to move in the 5 to 7 year period. So 10 years is a long time, and the rate is significantly lower, up to 0.5% lower than a 30-year fix. On our jumbos, there's no limit to cash out. So if somebody wants to perhaps improve their property,
Right.
and they want to take a lot of money, if you go to a bank, most of them have limitations on the amount that you can actually walk away from the table, what's called their actual cash out. So if somebody wants to do it, you know, they're in Pinecrest and they have a home that they've lived in for a long time, happens to be worth $1.5 million now, and they want to do a significant improvement, and they only owe now $250,000, and they want to take out a big amount of money to do a large construction project. Let's say they want, you know, $800,000. Most banks can't do that, and that's something that we can do because we have no limit to cash out. And you know, following Fannie Mae guidelines.
Well, yeah, that's a big deal. The following Fannie Mae guidelines, because, you know, for instance, Fannie Mae gives you the ability to have a debt ratio of like 50%. And most jumbo lenders at banks, they are going to cap you at 43%.
Right.
What does that mean? It means you can borrow a lot more with this program, with Fenby's jumbo, because we're not going to cap you. So that's a big deal. The other thing, Ed, that you haven't mentioned is the foreign national programs. So a lot of people from, you know, other countries, they want to invest here. They want to buy real estate. It's a great investment, and we're offering a great product for them.
Right. And we'll get into that too. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think people realize that, you know, they can borrow, you know, these loans that we're talking about today, there's no limit on the loan size these days. So we're at, you know, most programs out there are at around 80% loan to value. We're going to talk about some ones that have, you know, a little bit extra.
Right.
We'll talk about those in a second, but, you know, you can go to a purchase price of $10 million at 75% loan to value. So, you know, people would rather have their money working for them in a bank. And if you look at yields today on a 10-year treasury yield, yields are around 3%. You know, you could be in a 10-1 ARM today in the mid 4s. And, you know, so you're looking at, you know, a cost of your capital of only 1.5%, and you maintain your liquidity. So a lot of wealthy people want to keep their liquidity, and they want to borrow as much as possible.
Yeah. And speaking of wealthy people and, you know, capital, there's a lot of people out there who they have a lot of money in investments and in the bank, but maybe they sold their company and they don't have, you know, income coming in per se that they could show in their tax return. We have a great asset depletion program, which will allow people like that to just show, you know, how much they're worth, and we can go ahead and give them a loan based on that. So that's a big deal.
Right.
We also have programs that have no closing costs. Closing costs really can add up. They can be somewhere between, I don't know, 2 and 4%, depending on the loan product. And we have programs where they don't have to actually come up with that money. So that's.
Well, and you're talking about, think about a $2 million loan, Gloria. You know, $2 million loan, you're talking about $40,000 that we have available for them not to have to pay closing costs. So, I mean, the break even on that is just, it's like 10 years and the difference in the rate. So that's a really big deal and a great thing to offer your buyers. You know, I want to go back to some of these things, because take, for example, the asset depletion. You know, there are other lenders out there that talk about these types of products. What we want you to understand is that all of these things, like when you get a second home or an investment property, most other lenders have large adjustments to the interest rates and costs. Our second home adjustment is like 1/8%. And our investment property adjustment is about 1/4%. So if you look at that compared to other lenders can be 1% difference, or so much different that people, you know, when they go to their bank and they ask them about financing a second home or investment property, they get these terrible responses, and it could deter them from actually going through with the transaction. So if you can get them to talk to us, and when we tell them, hey, it's barely any difference in the rate and the terms, and that the asset depletion opportunity. I mean, today, if you go on to any other mortgage banker and ask them about an asset depletion loan, they may be able to do
They
it
don't
for
know what
you.
it is.
Well, they may not know what it is. They may not have opportunities, but
Right.
even if they do, the interest rate is going to be so high. And ours, it's the same rate. It's the same absolute rate
Well,
as
the-
anybody else that has a W-2 and a pay stub and bank statements.
Well, the other thing I wanted to bring up is that, we have a 30-year fixed option for investment properties. A lot of banks don't do investment properties. They don't finance them. And if they do, they're
Right.
only going to offer you maybe a 3-1, 5-1, or 7-1 arm.
Right.
We have a 10-1 and a 30. And another thing, very important, is our credit score requirement.
Right.
We allow a 680, even on these super large jumbo loans.
And on investment properties
Most
and
banks
second homes.
are at,
Right.
you have to have like a 720, a 740. So that's
Right.
a huge benefit.
And another thing is that we have 0 adjustments to the rates based on your credit score. So the
Right.
person that has a 680 score gets the same great rate as the person with an 800 credit score, whereas every bank that I know of out there, it's a different rate,
Yeah.
for the credit score. So that's not something that we tend to do, because believe it or not, people that have a lot of these larger loan opportunities, they're big users of credit.
Right.
So when the credit score takes a snapshot of their moment in time, a lot of them, believe it or not, do not have 800 credit, even though the credit's perfect, they just are big users of credit. So they don't score usually as high. Well, with us, they're not going to get penalized for that, which is great. Now let's talk about, those are some unique attributes of some programs, but let's talk about some very unique programs that we have that can help you turn more of your prospects into home buyers.
That's the goal here today. And that's why we're so glad all of you realtors joined us, because we want to help you. We want to partner with you and help you close more deals, and we'll close more deals too.
Right on. So you want to talk about?
Sure. So I do a lot of these, actually. The FEMBI Professional Loans Program, I'm really excited about this because it allows certain professionals, and we're going to get into the details of who these professionals are, but generally speaking, they're people in the medical field, there are people in the accounting field, and people in the legal field, attorneys, accountants, actually CPAs, and certain licensed medical people, which we will get into. But with this program, you can actually buy a home up to $750 with no money down,
Right.
and no mortgage insurance,
Right.
which
Awesome.
is fantastic. We also don't count deferred student loan debt, which is a big help, because a lot of people in these fields had to do a lot of education and get a lot of loans.
Right.
We also will go 95% up to $1 million and 90% up to $1.5 million. And I think if we're going to go over that, we would request an exception. We will consider everything. So don't hold back if it's more than that. We'll probably.
Well, there are some
consider.
other options,
Yeah.
when you get on higher
Sure.
situations where you can continue on the 90% route.
Yeah.
And will actually pay their closing costs above and beyond that. So it's an extra added benefit. So if you have somebody that's purchasing a $2 million house and they need 90% financing, we can take care of that too.
Well, Ed, we're always going to look at each person.
Right.
That's the thing that FEMBI brings to the table. And that's why I've been here so long, is because we do offer a lot of programs, and we always look for the best possible terms and rates for our
Right.
borrowers. And the great thing about this program is, if you're married, or if you have a partner, or if you're buying it with a partner, or only one person on the loan has to be a professional.
Right.
And so that's great too.
Right. Because you can have combined income, and, instead of putting a whole bunch of money, especially if somebody's buying a property, let's say they're buying a property in the Grove, needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
But, and it's expensive because it's in the
Right.
the $2 million range or the $1.5 million range. They can save their money, even though they happen to make a lot of money, and they have a lot of money in the
Yeah.
bank. They can keep their money
Yeah.
for the improvements, and we can finance for them, let's say 90% of the 1.5.
Right.
They keep their cash, and they can use that money for improvements to the property right when they move in. They don't have to wait. They don't have to do a construction perm loan,
Right.
which takes a lot of time, costs more. You can't lock in the rate up front.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of disadvantages of those types of programs. Whereas in this one, they can just keep their cash and they can do that. They can do those improvements, which is awesome. Now, let's talk about who you can target using this program. I mean, the list has gotten really large for us.
Yeah.
I will tell you the doctor loan, which I'm sure most of you know, has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, we've had it since 2000 and I don't know, 12, 13. You know, when it was just, you had to be a physician or a dentist,
Psychiatrist.
a psychiatrist, basically an MD
MD,
or a
yeah.
DO or
Right.
a, you know, now what we have done is we have expanded that to include other professionals with higher degrees.
Right.
So, and I think some of the ones that have the biggest opportunity, a pool of people out there are attorneys. I mean,
Yeah.
who out
And
there has an attorney, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, if you're in the real estate
Unfortunately,
profession,
we all
you
do.
probably have an attorney or you have an association of one. And, you know, there's a lot of large attorneys firms
Yeah.
that are headquartered in Miami and in all parts of Florida. And I think that if you can get into, you know, having, you know, talk to your attorney and find out in their office, if maybe you could come in and do a lunch and learn about how, especially their new attorneys right out of college, hey, we don't have to count your deferred student loan debt against you. You can buy rather than rent because we can finance 100% of your purchase up to 750, even on a condo.
Right.
So, wow, you know, what an opportunity. What if somebody did a seminar at UM Law School or FIU Law School or, you know, any other law school up the coast to a bunch of
Or
students?
for residents.
Yeah, that
you
we're
know.
gonna, or for residents, for medical residents or at a hospital. Another thing is CPAs. I mean, golly, everybody's got a CPA, right? If
Yep.
you're a realtor, you need a CPA if you don't have one. And so there's another opportunity, and their entire firms. There's a building right inside of our office space here that has 3 floors of
Yeah.
CPAs. So what a great opportunity to expand your prospect base.
And ask us to, we'll come with you. We'll do it together.
Great idea.
We'll partner up with you. We'll do a webinar. We'll do an in-person breakfast, lunch and learn, like Ed said. And we do those all the time. And it's a great way for all of us to shine.
No, absolutely. Just a few more that, you know, are kind of unusual for the professional program. Chiropractors, I mean, they don't get respect right now. Well, geez, you know, you can do 100% financing. Nurse practitioners, I mean, they deserve it,
And
right?
CRNAs.
And CRNAs and physician's assistants. So,
Yep.
you know, when you go to the doctor next time and you happen to see the PA, normally you're like, oh, I really want to see the doctor. Well, that's your chance to get a
Sell
new
'em a
sale.
house.
Sell them a house. Did you know that you can buy a house with 100% financing because you are a nurse practitioner or a physician assistant? That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So just some things to think about when you're out and about and with your sphere of influence. You want to talk about the?
Sure. So we kind of briefly mentioned on this before, but foreign national loans, this is a great opportunity. We will do a loan to value of 75%, which is really good. I remember back when I first started years ago, it was like 60% financing or 70% financing, but we'll do 75, meaning they have to come in with 25% down. We'll even do cash out. We have much simpler documentation requirements. We, you know, will need to get certain things from their country of origin and from them. But it's really, you know, not such a bad process. And we will allow them to close in an LLC.
Right. You know, I mean, it's funny that it's actually easier for a foreign national to document their income than it is for a U.S. citizen, believe it or not. It's a letter
Well,
from
they don't
their
have
country.
tax returns.
Right. So we don't
Yeah.
have to worry about that. And they don't have to have credit. So they don't have to have a credit score, which is really awesome.
Well,
It
they
makes
do
it easy.
international credit.
No, we don't
Oh,
run
we don't
international.
run
No,
that.
we don't
Yes.
require that. But it's a letter from their bank, you know, just giving them a reference letter
Yeah.
in their country of origin,
Mhm.
and then a letter from their CPA or equivalent there. They
Yeah.
have to be somebody licensed. It has to be a third party that says their last 2 years of income
Right.
and year to date. And that's all we need.
And
So
I'm
that's pretty
really-
amazing.
I'm really excited about our loan amounts and our interest rates on these.
Yes, the rates are great, much lower than what you have probably heard in the past. They all, they are ARMs, you know, adjustable
Right.
rates, but they're up to a 7/1 ARM, so they can be fixed for up to 7 years. So it's very, I mean, the product is very good. The interest rates are very competitive.
Our
And I think,
minimum loan amount.
oh, is only
It's only
200,000.
200,
200,000.
and a lot of banks require 250, so that's a great opportunity. They want to come and buy a condo or something, we can help them out.
And you know what, a lot of people don't realize, but this is a big deal, that they don't have to have the money already here in the United States. Most banks, what they require you to do is have the money transferred in, and then you have to wait a period of time for them to season those funds, and you don't have to do that with us. We can actually verify their assets through their account statements in their country of origin, and they only have to transfer the money in when it's time to close.
That's really great.
So it's really great, and it makes things a lot easier to close. And the good news is that these loans can still be closed within a 30-day period, where before it would take 45 or 60 days to close a
Yeah.
transaction.
And we have plenty of people that speak Spanish.
That's true.
If they're doing it from South American countries.
So one of the things that we want to bring up, and we know that many of you already know about our cash program. We have had an amazing amount of success with the program all through this year. But just recently, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we rolled it out where now you can actually do jumbo purchases using our cash offer program up to a purchase price of $2 million. So that is really awesome. There are other, lookalike programs out there. I want you to know that they charge up to 3% of the loan amount to use the cash offer program. The cost for our program to the borrower is $500.
And they only pay it at closing.
Which is amazing. And even up to a purchase price of $2 million. So that means a loan amount of
1.6
up to $1.6 million. We will make a cash offer on behalf of your buyer so that their offer can be the one that stands out in the crowd. Even today, now we know that market has changed a little bit, perhaps, and maybe there are not as many offers coming on every single property, but why not empower your offer to be the best offer by making it a cash offer? And now you can do that even on a jumbo non-conforming loan. So I think the lesson on that is to make sure that you get your clients and your prospects to a FEMB loan officer as soon as possible and early on when they start thinking about the transaction. And then we will show them the value of doing the cash offer. And one of the great things about that is going to endear them to you as the realtor, and honestly to us. So the earlier we can team up and get somebody approved with that, the better off we're all going to be to make sure that when they are ready to actually put pen to paper and write a contract, that they're calling us, and that we can keep that buyer, and that they don't stray off to another realtor perhaps, or another lender. So
yeah, and it's really, it's a simple thing. I mean, what we really encourage is for you to get those people to us, and then one of our loan officers will speak to them and get them approved before you go out and make an offer.
Right.
And we're doing it really quick. From the time I have spoken to people, I've even gotten the same day or the next day the approval for them to move forward with their cash offer. And it's a sense of comfort to know that they're going to go all the way through to the end, and not have to worry about waiting. The sellers don't have to wait a 30-day financing contingency. So that's huge in this market.
Yeah, and I've heard some people say, well, geez, nowadays, will it make a difference because now we're seeing financed offers be accepted? But guess what? Your cash offer beats every financed offer. And I think what we're going to see now in our cash offer program is people actually getting the properties for a lower price. So, another reason why you can use this program to capture prospects is because you could say to them, hey, let me show you how we can actually help you. We'll make a cash offer on your behalf, and you're going to get a better price for the property. Not to mention, getting the contract. I think we're still in a situation where there are multiple offers, especially in the jumbo price point. But that day is coming when maybe now they get a better price. So both reasons are great reasons to use the program.
The other thing is that in addition to being a cash offer, we can close quicker because we've already done the lion's share of the work. So you can shave off about 15 days, maybe close in 30 days,
or less. Or less. Most of the time, once the inspection period is over, we're usually ready to go and ready to close. It's usually that we now have to wait on the title insurance,
and
get
survey.
homeowners done, get
Yeah.
the survey, get those things that happen at
Yeah.
the end of a transaction. So we're usually ready to go. So many times, in fact, I just had one. We were scheduled to close next Friday, and we were ready to go, and we're now closing on Monday.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
yeah, a week early, and that's awesome. So
Our underwriters are busy.
yeah, not only that, but you get your commissions faster. Is that everybody gets paid, right? We all get paid when the deal's closed, not when they go to
Right.
contract. So it's nice to get that paycheck a little faster.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for hanging in there. Don't forget to put your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom. I think we have a few questions to cover. Please don't forget to do that. And we're going to address those in a second. But before that, we're going to go ahead and have our raffle. You can't see her, but our trusty marketing director, Katie, is behind the screen here, and she is going to do the raffle here and tell us who the winner is.
Drum roll, please.
Drum
What do
roll,
they get?
please.
What do they get?
Oh, they're going to get a $50 Amazon gift card.
Ooh, I want one of those.
Right.
Drum roll. Ricardo Martinez.
Ricardo Martinez is our winner. Thank you very much,
Thank you for
Ricardo.
being
Thank you
here,
for
Ricardo.
joining. We'll be emailing you with the information and the link to your Amazon gift card. Thank you very much, Ricardo, for joining us. And question and answer session. Do we have any? Not so far.
It looks like someone's asking about the second home, if they can do it with the cash offer.
Oh, okay. Well, currently on second homes, the cash offer program is not available. We only do it on primary residences for now. We are looking at expanding the program further, but right now, we're saying no on second homes and investment
Okay.
properties on the cash offer program. But certainly on primary residences, it's something that I think every single realtor should make sure that their offer is a cash offer deal.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Any other questions out there? Well, certainly you can email us anytime. You can find out, obviously, a lot of information on our website. And of course, you can reach out to either one of Gloria or I or any of your FEMB loan officers and meet with them in person. I think one of the best things that you can think about doing is planning on meeting with one of us, and let's put our heads together and think about who we can target and who we can use these unique products to target, because this is a great opportunity for not only for us but for you to get more business. There is another question real quick.
From Ricardo, our raffle
Oh,
winner.
one more from Ricardo.
Do all those programs work in Puerto Rico?
Well, that's a great question, Ricardo. Yes and no. Some are available. Our non-conforming special jumbo loan products are available in Puerto Rico. That means the fixed, the 10-1, 7-1, 5-1, up to a 50 debt ratio, 680 credit score. And I'll tell you, they are the best rates in Puerto Rico by a large margin. It's amazing how good the rates are at FEMB Mortgage in Puerto Rico. I don't know if many of you know, but the rate differential is a little bit different. The rates are typically higher in Puerto Rico than they are in the States because there are limited banks that offer product there. But with our own loan here, and this is a loan that we originate, we underwrite, we close, we fund it, and we service these loans. So these customers are with us for life, which is great for them and great for us. And in Puerto Rico, that's the way it works, and it's fantastic. And they have a wide range of products. The only one I think that's not available there is the professionals program at this time. We don't have that opportunity in Puerto Rico.
And Tayreen said thank you. Tayreen Nelson.
Oh, hi, Tayreen. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
You guys have a great rest of your week and a great prosperous week, and call us anytime. We're ready for you, ready for your deals.